position on their entire football team, and the most improved player in that is Kemoeatu. You know, he's a guy last year that had a great deal of potential, but Urban Meyer told us clear back in the summer that it's time for Chris to move from potential to realizing that potential, and he said the young man has done that this season.
Well, Chris had some anger problems. Kemoeatu, and let's go down for more on that. Here's Anne Marie.
Well, actually, Chris Kemoeatu he was suspended twice for kicking an opponent. His outburst earned him some counseling sessions in anger management. Kemoeatu told us he had several simple methods to try when he feels frustrated, like counting to 10 or breathing deeply. Head coach Urban Meyer told his senior that the time for talking about potential is over and that he had 3 games this season to prove that that potential had finally come to fruition. The results are in, say Meyer, and Kemoeatu is a very good player who Meyer expects to see playing on Sundays.
And you want that aggression on the football field, but within the guidelines of how you play the game. At 6'4", 338, it is exactly like he can get away with a whole lot.
You know, I have to count to 10 when I'm around you and Anne Marie all the time. I mean, you know, all the anger you bring out, it's hard.
I know that. I understand. I'll try to get better.
Here we go. First and goal at the 10 after Utah used their second timeout. Smith now has Paris Warren in motion, and he gives off to Marty Johnson, and Johnson close to the 5 before he's knocked down. And now one of the Utah players, the last moment, I think it was Tupola, pushed Air Force guy, and that was Denny Poland. He's saying, hey, where's the penalty flag?
You know, what they've done the whole time, the officials have let these two teams play. There's been some holding that hasn't been called, but they're calling it both ways, and as a player, that's what you want. Let them play and let both teams play.
Well, I tell you, this Utah team is playing. They're doing a lot of good things as they have a second and goal now to 5. This would be a crusher if they get in the end zone. Smith straight ahead, fighting for the goal line. He did not get there. It'll be 3rd and goal, just short of the goal line. Boy, he is strong that time. 6'4", listing him about 212 pounds. You were saying it's not that big, but he's a tough kid, and he took it to the 1-yard line.
Watch big number 78, Tupola right here, leading Smith up. This wasn't the draw that we saw a couple of plays ago. This is actually a lead by Tupola to try to lead him into the end zone. They have a diversity of runs for the quarterback, and Smith executes each and every one of them very, very well.
In this 4th quarter, Air Force has only 4 yards, a -4 yards. Utah with 96, trying to get a big one here. 3rd and goal at the 1. Smith underneath center, one of the few times, gives to Johnson, diving, he's in. Touchdown, Utah. So with 7:30 to go, that is a crushing touchdown.
There's nothing fancy about this. All the work has been done well before now, but this, I think, is the nail in the coffin right here.
No question. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what you think, but we saw Cal play Air Force, and I'm not sure this Utah team isn't better than Cal. I mean, they are something. Borenson, point after, 49-28, has Utah on their way to their 8th straight win.
Great seats. Just one more thing to love about Outback, where you can enjoy our golden boomerang shrimp and our taste bud thriller salmon griller. Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
My husband had finished his military tour before we got married. But now, because of recent events, he had to go back, and he'll be gone for a while. So I decided now's a great time to go back and get my medical training.
Blair College can train you to be a medical assistant in less time than you think. Now is the right time to get started on the career you've always wanted.
When my husband comes home, I'll have a great new career.
Blair College can put you on the fast track to success. Call Blair College now at 800-577-7113.
Hi, I'm Kelly. If you're ready to take your future where you want to go, it's time to make the phone call that can change your life. There's a world of opportunity just waiting for you, waiting to offer you a rewarding career. There's a demand for trained professionals, And a trained professional is exactly what you can be with the right education. A personalized, hands-on education can give you the knowledge and the confidence to succeed. It's time to put yourself first. Call the number on your screen. We're waiting to hear from you.
49-28, Marty Johnson with his 4th rushing touchdown of the day. That ties his school record. And it's kind of like a coming out party for him as he battles back from all that adversity. And this Utah team now, with 7:30 left to go, will kick off. Mesereau and Stevens go back. Here's Morrison, that little hop that he... And it comes out now to Mesereau. Mesereau is able to get it close to the 20, and he'll be dropped there. It's time now for the Arctic Cat drive of the game, and that drive really, as you mentioned, kind of shut the door on Air Force.
Yeah, I believe this sealed the deal, and Urban Meyer talked about needing to put this team away when you had them down. Well, they scored 35 straight points starting in the second quarter, and they didn't put them away, but I think this represents it right here.
So the Arctic Cat drive of the game, and it now makes it a 49-28 game. Air Force in a deep hole starting from the 20-yard line. Jacoby Kendrick in at fullback, and that's Kendrick carrying the ball as he comes across the 25-yard line. So Air Force, after playing a complete game last week in Las Vegas against UNLV, runs into their second top 20 ranked team in 3 weeks. And it wasn't fun against Cal, and it's not a lot of fun right now.
Resilient to a point, but sometimes you just have to get it done a little bit early. You can't continue to try to come back time and time again.
So Kendrick able to come up close to the 30-yard line. I still think that fumble by Carney was the one that, you know, it was at that time 35-28, and all of a sudden the ball got away, and they have just put them down, this Utah team. They have really been able to seal the deal. And here's a handoff to Kendrick again. He bursts out of there and stays on his feet. I tell you, this guy is going to be an outstanding football player. He blocked for Cedric Benson when he was at Robert E. Lee High School in Midland, Texas. Benson, of course, the outstanding running back at the University of Texas. That's a 21-yard gain.
And he will do a lot of blocking here at Air Force at that fullback position, but he will also get to do that a ton. Carry the football. That's the foundation of what they do offensively at Air Force.
Air Force still with some fight in them as at the 48-yard line. Carney back to throw. Now scrambling around, and he's going to be thrown for a loss. That was Corey Dodds, the linebacker, who dropped him back at the 45-yard line. Boy, Dodds is an outstanding player. He is a senior out of Salt Lake. He and Toon, the two linebackers, can really run.
And that was a great job by Dodds continuing to pursue the quarterback, but that was a result of great coverage in the secondary. Carney has time to throw the football. 3 seconds right there, and Dodds just continues to pursue down the line. 2nd
and 13 now for the Falcons. Carney back again. Over the middle, complete. Catch is made by J.P. Waller. And that'll be an Air Force first down at the 39-yard line.
Well, don't expect Air Force to go away. They're going to play until the last tick is off the clock. I don't know that there's enough time to do anything, but they will ride this ship out.
Yes, they will. 17-yard pickup on the play. First down at the 39. They're in a hurry up. They call the hurry offense in Fisher DeBerry's terminology. Here's Carney keeping, able to get inside the 35 to the 34. We've had a lot of points scored here today on homecoming day in Salt Lake. 49-28, Utah leading Air Force in a game that started out with Air Force leading 14-0, and then all of a sudden 35 unanswered points by Utah. The ball intended for Stevens goes out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock with 4 minutes, 58 seconds left to go. But I tell you what, this score, if you picked it up with a paper tomorrow, you really wouldn't appreciate what kind of a football game this is. Sometimes you got to study a game, you got to see it in person. This has really been a most interesting game.
Well, 35-28, and the quarterback turns the ball over. on a questionable call. We couldn't definitively see it. We have to go with the officials, obviously, but that was the turning point.
It really was. It looked like they had a shot at this. Butler will go in motion. Carney's going to follow him through the hole. The fullback gets inside the 30. Look at this effort. Goes down to the 26. That's a first down. I love this guy. Sean Carney is something special.
There's the foundation for this program going forward, is that young man right there. He's a true freshman, remember, and he's going to do a lot of this before it's all said and done. I mean, you have to tackle him.
Yes, you do.
That's what Urban Meyer talked about, is he's different than a Chance Harridge from a year ago. He runs the football very hard.
There's Butler. He is hit hard on that pitch. I mean, he was
Ryan
rocked.
Smith.
Oh, he weighs, what, 156 again?
Yeah, on a heavy day. But that's what Air Force wanted to force this Utah defense to do, is make the corner support. I don't know if that was wise.
Whoa.
If you have a corner that's going to support like that. We heard it live the first time,
Yeah.
and he brought every bit of plastic that he had.
Well, this guy is out of Diamond Bar, California, redshirt freshman. Penalty flag, and the flag is against Utah. And they're going to step up 5 yards to the 21-yard line, or it'll be 5 yards to go for a first down, 1st and 5.
And Ryan Smith was really a surprise at that corner position. They have a senior in Gerald Fletcher that they expected to be the starter. This young man has come in and won that starting job.
Fletcher's their fastest player. Here's Carney pitching back. They're going to throw. And the pass is up, and is it intercepted by Smith? Did he get it in bounds? They're going to give it to Utah at the 1. The guy you were talking about, Ryan Smith, picked it off at the 1-yard line.
That's why the redshirt freshman is in the game. He comes up hard on support, forces a fumble at the end of the first half. We just saw how he supported the play before, and then he steps back and gets an interception.
I don't know. I'd like to see this again. I don't know. And there's Fisher. He's hot. Let's see if he was in bounds.
Well, I don't believe either of the officials actually got a good view of this. Ball is caught.
Yeah.
This official that's in the screen right there, the field judge, absolutely was not looking at the feet. The officials are taught feet first and then worry about possession. He didn't know where the defender's feet were right there.
An halfback pass being thrown by a guy who was a former high school quarterback. That was Justin Hanley. He threw one against California that was incomplete. Fisher is...
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Air Force, 15-yard penalty. First down.
That is against Fisher, I believe.
I think you're right. It takes a lot to get Fisher.
Yes, it does. Let's look
up
again. Let's see, Kelly, if you can see here. Boy, I don't know.
It was a bang-bang play, but the bottom line, the official right there in the screen was in good position. Goal line extended, but they're taught to look at feet first and then go from there. You could tell by his head, he was not looking at the feet.
I'm going to tell you, Fisher DeBerry is one of the classiest guys you'll ever see, and he doesn't get upset like that very often. We have a new quarterback. It's a true freshman. Ryan Johnson is coming to the ball game, and he hands off, and Utah is able to burst out to the 30-yard line. That's Ganther, and it'll be a first down. There's Johnson. This is a guy, as you can see, from Baytown, Texas. Hey, he's only 17 years old, and they say he has unbelievable poise.
Won't be 18 until February, but he's the guy that's being groomed to take over for Alex Smith. The question I have, Alex Smith is a junior. Getting the notoriety that he's getting, is he going to be here next year? Urban Meyer didn't even want to discuss that.
Don't you say that in front of Urban. You know, as intense as Urban can get from time to time, I don't want to be around if you bring that up again. First down now, inside 4 minutes to go. Johnson giving up, and this is Ganther again. He's got another first down to the 41-yard line. Well, this has turned out to be a very disappointing second half for Air Force. But let me just put it this way. They have run into a juggernaut. This Utah team, Kelly, is something special.
And we talked about this at the Open. Urban Meyer believes this is the season. This game right here, and then they have a short week, and they have to go to New Mexico. And New Mexico came in last year and put a thumping on this football team. So he believes this is the two-game stand that's going to define their season.
And, of course, Air Force is playing 3 games in 17 days, and they got to play Navy, who won the Commander-in-Chief's trophy last year. So that's a big game. Here's Marty Johnson. Check that. keeping the ball is Brian Johnson. And he rolls out. Let's take a look ahead at Utah. New Mexico, they have an open date before the North Carolina game. Then UNLV. Then the San Diego State game could be a real test.
Yeah, circle that one right there on the calendar, because I think if they get by New Mexico, that San Diego State game is for the conference championship, the way the league is playing out right now.
San Diego State played Michigan to a standstill in Ann Arbor. And we just understand that Lionel Hamilton is redshirted for the rest of the year, who was a freshman running back of the year last year in the Mountain West. Wish him well as he recovers, because we'll see a lot of football out of him the next 3 years. Brian Johnson is going to keep this one. Pitches back and trying to get out of bounds and getting knocked out of bounds. Jerome Wright. Let's look at Air Force. Now, Air Force, as you know, has done so well in the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy. 14 times Fisher DeBerry has won it. But that streak ended last year when Navy defeated them, and they want to bounce back. They lost to the Middies. It snapped a 12-game winning streak, the first loss to Navy since 1996. Then they got to play New Mexico, BYU. It doesn't get very easy.
No, and the #1 priority in Air Force's program is to win that Commander-in-Chief trophy. They want to get that back in Colorado Springs.
So it'll be a tough week for Air Force to come back from this. A short week. They're going to practice tomorrow, Sunday, just because it is such a short week. There's Marty Johnson, drops to 49. 3 minutes left in this game.
And it's interesting the way Air Force approached this 3 games in 17 days. They stayed in Las Vegas after the game last Saturday. It was a late game. They would have got home late. Fisher thought that the young men would lose too much sleep. They came in early on Friday to allow those guys to sleep about 4 hours in the afternoon, and then they're going to go practice tomorrow.
I tell you, the schedule that these cadets keep is amazing. It's hard for them to get very much sleep, so that's what they try to do, is overcome some of that sleep debt. Here's Brian Johnson, the true freshman, stumbles and he gets inside the 45. And you already down there.
You're already seeing Brian Johnson. What he's going to bring to this program when he gets time to take the keys to the car is he has a little wiggle in his step. And you think about how much the quarterback in this offense runs the football. He's going to be special.
17 years old. Hard to believe, isn't it? We have a timeout. 2:24 left in this game. Utah on their way to their 8th straight and maybe a top 10 ranking.
During the game, complete strangers unite, holding their fingers aloft in celebration of their team's greatness. But after the game, some of those same fans use their fingers for other purposes. When you leave the game, try to exercise some patience. You might even qualify for an Allstate Safe Driver discount, because good sportsmanship should extend to the road. That's Allstate stand. Are you in good hands?
The newly designed Nissan Altima. Engaging. A shift in style. From fit to finish. It's forward thinking. Introducing the beautifully redesigned 2005 Nissan Altima. Now with 1,000 cash back for a limited time. 1,000 cash back. Enlightening. See your Nissan dealer now.
It's where the lights always shine and bright stars are born. The Pioneer Pure Vision Las Vegas Bowl. Join us December 23rd. Watch the big names from the Pac-10 and the Mountain West as they square off in the Pioneer Pure Vision Las Vegas Bowl. For tickets, call 1-866-388-FANS or log on to lvbowl.com. It's time to get to the game and into the tradition.
14th ranked Utah on their way to the victory, 49-28. Let's take a look now at the Cooper Tire defensive player of the game. And this guy, 156 pounds, had the interception of the one, 8 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and he's just a redshirt freshman.
I think that pretty much is all a defensive back can do during a football game. And that, amazingly enough, and ironically enough, Air Force wanted Utah's corners to have to force the issue on the pitch, and oh my, did he ever today.
2:24 left in the game. It's going to be a 4th down as Johnson will go in motion. Brian Johnson, the quarterback, scrambling around, running up the field. He will not get the first down. And so Air Force now will take over on downs. Air Force still with a couple of timeouts left as they will set up shop at the 40-yard line. Well, you think about what Urban Meyer has done. He came in last year. The year before, Utah was 5-6. They go to 10-2. The last 2 games of the year, they shut out both BYU and Southern Miss in the Liberty Bowl. Only team to do that all year long in this division. I mean, it's an amazing thing he's done so quickly. Adam Fitch, by the way, is the new quarterback now for Air Force. Fitch, the guy who was expected to be the starter this year, then ruptured his Achilles tendon on April 1st.
You can see it in his second year. He's 13-2. Coach of the year last year, a championship. And I think actually, Gary, last year was the bonus year. They won a lot of close ball games, and they were just getting settled into his new system. And this year, they hit the ground running.
Yep, I agree with you. They had a lot of close games. They have gone now to 4-0. They had been 3-0 for the first time since '99. And Fish, I should say, Urban said the preseason is over. He was talking about the non-conference game. And our players and coaches now will evaluate ourselves and how we do in the Mountain West Conference, and they've taken a huge step today.
It was interesting to hear Urban Meyer ask a question about the BCS.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? We beat a lot of so-called BCS teams already on our schedule, but the best teams we play are in our conference. Forget about the BCS. Well, they may not forget about it. They may be playing in one of those games.
You know, Air Force calls the timeout. They just don't want to quit. I mean, they're down.
It's not in their blood.
It's 49-28. They use the timeout to stop the clock with 1:49.
You know, and it's interesting you say that, because that typifies Fisher to Berry. And he sends a message to his team in these type of situations. Finish the game. We still have ticks on the clock. We're going to use all of our bullets, so to speak, and we're going to get after it, and don't think for 1 minute we're going to quit.
Well, let's check some other scores. A lot of games going on in the Mountain West Conference, and Colorado State winning their first ball game. Wyoming, that's a big win for Joe Glenn and the Cowboys. Well, they're in the 4th quarter. I guess I shouldn't give them that game yet. And then tonight, New Mexico State, San Diego State, Nevada.
Nevada's a nice team. San Diego State has a great defense, but Nevada can get after it. And UNLV at Utah State. UNLV needs that game in a big way as well.
They've really had a tough early schedule. So Urban Meyer, a guy who was the National Coach of the Year for Sporting News, the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year. I mean, I guess if he could be a BCS buster, about the only way he could go a step further after the year he had a year ago.
And answer that question about the BCS yesterday, saying we're going to the Liberty Bowl.
There's a handoff to the near side, and this is Ed Moss carrying the ball. Edward Moss out of Englewood, Colorado. And he'll be stopped. And
finishing that thought about the Liberty Bowl, Urban Meyer is keeping his team focused on what the goal is. All of the things can happen if we win the conference, and the conference champion goes to the Liberty Bowl.
And here's a pitch to the near side, and being driven out of bounds will be Moss again. A minute 32 left in this game.